Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Circle of the World podcast, where we discuss Joe Abercrombie's First Law series. I am one of your hosts, Lord Chamberlain Jeffrey, and here are my co-hosts.
Much like to George.
And Harrison, the Adeptus Historical.
So today, we will be switching things up a little bit, and instead of doing the usual chapter read-throughs, we will be discussing spoiler topics from part 1 of the Blade itself.
Yay!
Yay!
Oh, finally, we've been waiting for this for ages.
Yes. So let's get started. Well, before we get into the spoilers, again, let's just be nice. Let's be nice and just thank everybody for their support, their undying support, and please remember to follow us on social media. Okay, social media.
And
Got it.
again, spoilers for this episode. So if you are listening along and you missed the title with the big spoilers and asterisks, then stop listening.
Fuck off! Oh, sorry.
Yeah, fuck off.
Stop listening if you haven't finished at least 3 books, right? Or no, we're not going that far into. Just stop listening.
Probably not.
Just
I
stop
reckon,
listening.
if you haven't finished at least halfway through Last Argument of Kings, just stop listening.
Right. We're not gonna get too spoilery. We're gonna just dangle the carrot in front of you. That's what we're gonna do, right?
Chomping at the bit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Chopping at the bit, Captain.
And again, Harrison's been putting out quality, I think high quality videos on the YouTubes, and me and George will be posting our own videos as well as collaborative efforts. So make sure you keep an eye on that. And again, just a little shout out to the artists that have helped us out. Barrett Freimeyer at what was his website?
I think it's BarrettFreimeyer.com or something.
I think it's something like that, right?
Yeah.
It's BarrettFreimeyer.myportfolio.com. So it's Barrett, BarrettFreimire.myportfolio.com. I felt like I was reading an ad there. Jesus Christ. And our nice gentleman there that helped with the new banner art, at design.at.j on Instagram. Check him out. Check them both out. Or die.
Jeff, you're so funny.
As the knife lowers into Harrison's neck.
Yeah.
So let's get started with the spoilers. Why not, guys? Right?
Right. Yeah. So right from the first few chapters, I reckon we should start with one of Glockter's chapters, the bits with Salem Ruse.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I was thinking
love
the
the
same thing.
foreshadowing.
Okay.
Like it's always every time he describes Ruse, he always talks about his face,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a really good foreshadowing for later when he does eventually come back,
Mm.
even though we don't know who he is, and there's something wrong with his face.
Something is very wrong with his face.
Yeah,
No,
and
I
it's
didn't like that
also
one.
and part of that foreshadowing is how he's a tough man, like how he's not as soft as he thinks he is, and when we see him again, he's quite a bit harder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he keeps surprising Glockta and the reader. We could say.
In a way, he's kind of like, he's like metal. He's like metal being forged. He just gets harder each time you compress him.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good way of putting it. That is a good way.
Right. Especially, it's funny seeing him become tougher over the course of the trilogy, especially if you reach Sharp Ends and you see his character is like how he acts then.
Yeah, like
Do you
an
remember
absolute little weasel.
You remember
He's like,
that, right?
Glock is so amazing. Oh my god.
Yeah.
You think he's about to fucking whack him off? It's like,
Yeah,
damn, bro.
Weston Glockta's like, chill out, man. We don't want to get pregnant right now. Good lord.
Yeah. It's that line in Sharp Ends when Clocks has taken the piss out of him, and he's like, "Yes, I am. I'm very fat." It's like,
Yeah, he's like just in love with him. He's like, I have to be around him to be popular. Which is, again, interesting to see how his story kind of, if you take from the Sharp Ends point of view, up to where we see him at the end of Last Argument of Kings. It's very interesting to see everything kind of come full circle in a completely different context.
Exactly, yeah, because he's still like under Glocta's thrall, just in a completely different way.
Yeah.
And a completely different relationship.
Yeah, not so fawning over the other, right?
It's kind of like a, I don't know. I think it's a relationship out of necessity.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, at the end of Last Argument of Kings, there isn't really anything else he can do.
Right, there's no going back to being buddy, right?
No, exactly, yeah.
And of
After you
course,
get sent to fucking England.
Yeah, and his we're not sure exactly how Salem Ruse, when he turns into whoever he turns into, his priorities and what he thinks is important are also quite a bit different as well. And we see that play out later on.
I think a couple of years in a freezing cold prison camp will do that to you. Change your perspective.
Yeah, but I think it was only a few months though.
Oh yeah, 6 months maybe.
Yeah, but still, it's enough for him to completely change what his priorities are, because he's actually got some fairly upstanding morals, which is I know torturing people is a little different, but
I mean, really, is it though?
Oh yes, of course, Jeffrey.
I don't know. What's this running joke that I'm gonna actually hurt you guys?
I know that George has been chomping at the bit to be able to talk about Baez's foreshadowing in his first scene that he pops up in.
Are we gonna talk about that right meow? Right meow?
Yeah, might as well just dive straight in. Like, there's loads of these.
Okay.
The foreshadowing is amazing. So the first time he's described, it's as a thick-set butcher. And that, a butcher. And considering the amount of shit that this guy does throughout the entire series, and it's just there. It's right in front of you. It just says it right to your face. This guy's a butcher.
Covered in blood.
Beautiful. Fantastic, because you will not notice that until the second time around.
That's true.
And that's one of the best pieces of foreshadowing that I've ever seen in fiction.
The man does not...
That's me done singing the praises of Joe Abercrombie.
Okay, I thought George was going to go full tinfoil and talk about the eater thing, but we'll save that for a video.
Yeah, we
gotta save that one. It's a big topic.
Jeff? But yeah, that's great stuff. Like, yeah, he definitely doesn't care about collateral, as we see.
Jeff, what do you you kind of looked at that, you took your notes a little differently. What do you know, some other points within the first part there that Baez's foreshadowing kind of shows itself?
I had written down, just his demeanor. I mean, even though how do I explain it? Like the demeanor of him always expecting to be obeyed. It's like, come on. I mean, the nice, friendly wizards that we've known from past fantasy books, they've been, genial, amiable, willing to hear somebody else's side out. Or they're, give them their argument in turn. Baez is cut from a different cloth, shall we say. Yeah.
And you can see that for the way he deals with Calder.
Oh yeah, see it from the way he deals with Calder, the way he gets all pissy when Karib is like, well, I mean, granted, Karib said some shit like, "We'll burn all your books and kill all your villagers." I mean,
you are nothing but words and dust, old man.
I think he took more offense at that. He's like, "Bitch, I ain't old."
Yeah, he does kind of reminisce on the past like old men do sometimes.
Oh, he does, especially before they're hanged. Remember that? You'll see.
Oh god,
you know. Wink, wink. But he does reminisce. He reminisces big time on the past. But it's almost like it's his fault.
I really like how they kind of have this. Joe writes it in a perspective way that we think, oh, Baez is kind of a nice guy, but really that comes down to the fact that we see a lot of Baez through Logan's eyes, and Baez likes Logan because Logan's a little bit different of a Northman. He's more subtle. He's smarter than he appears. He likes having him around. He can have a conversation with him and not feel like he's talking to, an imbecile. So because of that, Baez's disposition around Logan is much kinder compared to everyone else, which he's always like annoyed by.
Right. And also Logan, at this point, he's done making decisions. He's always going to defer to Baez, and Baez likes that.
That's a good point, Jeff.
You know, and he
I didn't think about that for some reason.
Right. He won't really
talk
back to Baez necessarily. So
not when he does, Baez gets pissed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there is a single example in the first part of this book of, you know, Logan actually doing or saying anything. Maybe in Team Vengeance when he's like, oh, what's the fucking point? You know, what's the point of learning about these plants? And Baez is a little myth there. But apart from that, Logan just does defer, like you say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he's always like, you surprised me, Logan. You surprised me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kwai, you don't get to ask where we're going.
Shut the fuck up, Kwai.
Now clean those pots.
Get back to your fucking desk right now.
Yes, I finally converted you bastards.
No. I am just reenacting Baez's attitude towards Kwai, okay? Poor Kwai.
Hashtag Malchus sucks ass.
Hashtag Harrison needs a therapist.
So and then speaking of Logan, Logan's written. Go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead.
Well, just because you said Logan and it's still related to Baez, we did get another bit of foreshadowing before we even meet Baez when the spirits are telling us right from the beginning, hey, don't necessarily trust these magi completely. They kind of always have like their own motives in mind. They play their own games.
Yeah, and I kind of find it interesting that Logan never really thinks about that.
Yeah, he just
he talks to the spirits, but he doesn't really give a shit about what they say.
Yeah,
it's because Logan isn't the smartest fella.
No, Logan isn't, and he's very much set in his ways.
Yeah. As you can see from my tier list video on YouTube. I'm sorry.
Well, yes. Wait, yeah, that's right. I think you put Logan as close to a dumbass. Like he ain't. He's smarter.
I put him right in the middle. Because he's smart enough. He's smarter than a lot of people, but like in my opinion, he's decidedly average. He's just kind of at the point where he has enough wisdom. We see him with enough wisdom from time. You know, we see him in the Blade itself. But think about all his terrible actions from before, all of his stupid actions in the future. All of his, you know, he makes a lot of stupid decisions, but we only see his good side lots of times, which is in, you know, the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Until the end.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay. All right. I'll allow it. I'll accept it. But go, Harrison, you were going to say something about Logan. I apologize.
I was just going to say... there was a commenter on Reddit who was kind of had the perception, we were kind of saving it for this episode, but he had the perception that we thought Logan was a kind of a one-note character who only cares about himself. We don't think that at all. It's not that we think Logan only cares about himself. It's the fact that Logan would rather not take responsibility, or in fact, maybe he doesn't know how to. He just doesn't have the tools mentally to be able to grapple with his own mistakes. And he learns and gets better, but he always at the cost of other people before he actually does something about it.
The Bloody Nine apologizes to no one.
Yeah.
And we can see from the way that, you know, he goes back to the camp in the first chapter, and he literally just looks around for a minute and goes, "Nah, they're dead." Because he wants to get out of that situation and become someone else because of all the horrible things that he's done.
And he just can't, you know.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's true that your environment shapes who you are, but still.
Fuck. Yeah, you can't just escape everything that you have done and just leave it behind. It's just wrong.
Right, it all catches up to you in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And Logan will find that lesson out wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We just see through this first part, there's multiple points where he talks about, you know, kind of being a better person. But then immediately after he does that, he's like, yeah, I got to get revenge. Yeah, it's okay. I'll deal with that later. I still got to go get, even when he's up in the high places, he's up thinking about his options. He's got two options in his mind. Either he can go kill himself or he can go get revenge. And that's the only reason he goes south it's not until he talks to Spears that he decides to do something else. But he was originally just going to go to the South, find work, and then deal with his dues. So he still has the mindset of, oh, I live for this. I'm going to take vengeance, and I'm going to kill people.
That's true. That's true. He does. He's just gone straight back to his bloody ways, you know. And that's the only thing. That's the only way he knows how to solve problems is with violence.
Yeah,
it's only when anyone needs.
You
to solve
see
problems.
that a lot. You see that a lot later with when he gets back to the North in Last Argument of Kings. You know, he immediately just turns back into a cunt.
Yeah, and he blames it on my environment. Oh, I just can't help it, bro. You chose to go to that environment.
Oh, man, we live in a society, you know. It's like,
that meme. We live in a
exactly.
society. That's hilarious.
Exactly. It's just that all of these northern bastards, they're all like violent, and if I don't watch my back and make sure everybody's scared of me, then they're just going to stab me.
Well, there is some truth to that, just because of his reputation, like his past deeds. Like he can't just show up like acting like Mr. Rogers, you know. I'm welcoming back to the neighborhood, and they're gonna be like, he's gone nuts. Yeah. He's gonna kill us all. He's gonna kill us all.
Like, if it was me, right, and I'm like, okay, I'm a different person, I would handle everything differently. If I'm like, I'm gonna be a better man, I would have tried to act like Three Trees. I wouldn't have tried to act like my old self, which was clearly something that everybody hated.
Exactly.
That's what he does. He goes immediately back to his old ways of saying, I have to make everybody fear me. He doesn't go, I'll come back. Oh, the Dogman's in charge. Okay, well, why is the Dogman in charge? Oh, because Three Trees, they all decided he was the best man to do it. Three Trees is a good man. I'm going to be more like Three Trees, like the Dogman does. No. He goes, I'm going to make them fear me.
Yeah, and immediately starts like giving everybody the eye, and just starting to intimidate everyone he sees. He goes up to Shivers and it's just like, yeah, you want a fucking problem? Basically.
Well, I didn't. Shit. All right, we're getting too far down spoiler territory in Last Argument Kings, but I don't. But I'll say I felt like he didn't know how to broach that topic. Hey, so like I murdered your brother.
That's true. That's true.
But he basically does turn around and basically go, do you want to do something about that? And you're like,
he does say that he does say that stuff near the end. But I know in the beginning, like when he's trying to talk to him about it, he says like, fuck, I haven't read Last Argument Kings in like a month, a couple months. He says something like, it was war, and we've all done shitty things or something like that.
Yeah, he makes excuses for it rather than just being like.
But then when we read that bit in Sharp Ends,
oh yeah,
we know that wasn't war. That was just
that was oh boy,
that was fucked up.
Exactly.
Oh boy.
And to be clear, again, we're not just harping on Logan. Logan he does a lot of good things. We see him again, not to get too spoilery, but he spends time with people and improves people's lives. And he does, obviously, he's had a positive effect on the Dogman. He has a positive effect on
Aldaru. He loved
him. He has a positive effect. Obviously, Three Trees respected him at the very least. He has these positive relationships because once you get to know Logan, Logan's a great guy. If you're Logan's friend, he's wonderful. But it's not...
not always.
I mean, he's not always. But like, overall... If you're Logan's friend, it's a fun time, because he's going to take care of you. He's going to give you wisdom. He's going to look out for you. He's going to protect you. But the truth is that we can't judge people based off of only how they treat their closest friends and loved ones. We have to judge people how they treat everybody. And he treats the majority of people, especially in his past, like utter shit.
Yeah. I have a good joke for this, but I'll wait till we get to Last Argument of Kings. Fuck it, I might even wait till before they're hanged, because it kind of comes out then. That's great. Yeah, I mean, there is definitely a lot of little tidbits about Logan and his past, and the dissonance between what he's presenting to us as the reader currently versus what the people around him who are at least familiar with his actions or his reputation, what they tell us. There's a bit of a dissonance there, right?
Yeah.
We see him, we're like, oh, this guy's just such a nice Northman. He's so nice compared to other barbarians we've read.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like the perspective thing. He does that with Joe does it with all his characters. And we learn I have this opinion that Joe, a lot of his characters, we don't see a lot of his characters change. We just learn more about them. And a lot of them do change, but like much of it is just us seeing who they actually are over time rather than just what they think of themselves.
Yeah, it's just like getting into a relationship with someone or striking up a friendship. The more time you spend around them, the more you learn. It's not that they've changed. Right.
Exactly.
Well put, Harrison. Well put.
George, meme of the week?
Sure. Yes, so we've got it's what
I agree, George.
I closed it. I closed it already.
Again.
Yeah, I know. So we got user your words won't save you, which is quite ominous, and it's one of the House of the Meme Makers memes of the week, and it's a very delightful blacked out fucking flatheads fishing magazine cover, which is incredible. So just go and check that out. This is probably the best non-spoiler one, which is weird because this is a spoiler episode. So
right,
I think we've kind of fucked up there. But
we did.
Oh well, fuck it.
We've been choosing all spoiler memes for the entire lead up to this, and now we just revert.
Well, to be fair, we actually in the beginning episodes we were doing a back to back, so we had to find memes outside of the top House of the Meme Maker one, but we actually pick the top most voted meme because we want to promote the biggest one because everyone's looking. Everyone agrees this is the best meme, so that's why we kind of
That's true. That's true.
why that one's there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good one.
That's a good one. I do like it, especially 9-fingered fish tickling. Love it.
Yeah, don't fucking miss, fool.
Learn how to shoot a bow and arrow with Pharaoh. Fucking pink.
Just don't miss. I love that. That's so stupid.
Oh, that was a good one. I appreciate that. And that, as George said, that's part of the House of the Meme Makers, memeing every chapter of the Blade itself, right? That's the one now it is. Yeah.
Which I've been loving so far.
It's been great. Fucking love it.
That's
participated.
Your words won't save you. So thank you very much for that.
Good job. Nice one.
We're just glad, no offense to the leader of the House of the Meme Maker, that it wasn't one of his memes again.
Right.
We're showing too much favoritism.
Yeah. Can't be accused of that now. What else? Oh, so getting back to the spoilers, want to talk a little bit about what do you think? Not what do I think, because we know. But one of my notes was like the extent of Wes and Glocta's friendship, at least in the past. The foreshadowing, Wes sees him for the first time in 9 years, whatever, and his jaw drops, and he's like, "You're fucking alive," all that jazz. I'm just doing it just to hurt George's ears. Basically.
I know. So I don't say anything anymore.
Jeff, we have 100 people listening to us now. I'm just kidding.
90 of them are just spam accounts I've created. But yeah, I always that always intrigued me even from the first read through. I was like, oh, there's a past there. What happened? And then it was just, Glocta was an idiot. Left, got speared, tortured, all that jazz. Came back, didn't seek nobody out, and just resented everybody. And I think this tied into one of my things is I still think that the whole investigation into the Mercers, this whole thing started with Glocta investigating Ruse. I still think that just occurred out of spite. I just think that when Glocta returned from England, and was an inquisitor in Adua doing his thing, he finally had some leeway and just figured, I'm going to, just start fucking up the people that were in my circle. And I'll start off with the guy that slobbered after my knob, Salem Ruse.
Yeah. And I do like that because we find out in the Sharp Ends chapter that, Ruse kind of just is like, you sure this is a good idea? riding down to the bridge by yourself with like 300 men to fight an entire army. And it's like Glockner is just an idiot. And he's like Giselle in that way, you know, he's overconfident.
The Hooper
But
overconfident.
It's interesting, the Sharp End story. Again, well, Sharp End is going to be the way down the line, so we'll cover it again, of course. But it's interesting with him, because Glockta to himself is like, man, that was stupid. What a stupid move. But in the moment, in the Sharp End story, he looks at West, and he looks at his men, and he's like, I'll hold them off. He did it. It was a stupid move, but he did it out of bravery, because he wasn't sure if he'd actually 100% live from it. He just was trying to save his men, and he knew it was the heroic thing to do. Looking back now, Glockter is like, I would have never done that, because I'd rather have my fucking limbs working than sacrifice myself. But that Glockta was quite heroic, in my opinion. He looked at all of them, and he was like, no, West, I don't want you to charge down, because West was his only true friend. His only one who actually looked at him for who he was, rather than looking at him for his status. And because of that, Glockter looked back at West without looking at him at his status. He just looked at him as a friend. So he saved his life by telling him, no, you're going to stay here, take charge, I'll hold off the army. He just didn't expect to live.
That is interesting. I never thought about it that way. I always saw it as sort of like him being, you know, just like over the top, fucking everybody look at me, I'm going to go and save the day.
Probably both. I think definitely
a little bit of it is both, I definitely think. But the fact that he looks at Wes and tells him not to come because he knows something bad is going to happen. Like, that if it wasn't for that, then I would 100% agree with you. But I think definitely there is a certain amount of, I care for you, friend. I think I may not live. Glockner even says, I would have never charged that bridge if I knew I was going to live. You know,
yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Wow, that's a whole different perspective on Glockter there.
Wow. My heart goes out to him.
My heart goes out to
him.
Our favorite torturer.
Our favorite. Oh, one other thing I want to point out regarding this time West is this is a chapter, I think, that it was Giselle's perspective, but we see somebody in I forget which chapter it is. It's after I think West gets promoted, or no, it's not. But we meet Sergeant Forrest.
Yes.
I was about to say, like, you guys just fucking went dead on me there. Jesus
Christ. We see.
Yeah,
we do. Yeah, we meet Sergeant First way back in fact, I'm pretty sure whenever whenever Giselle's first running through the Agriant, he looks over and sees a short, stocky sergeant guarding the gate. I'm pretty sure that's Forrest. And then like 2 chapters later, Wes is like, oh, Sergeant Forrest, and he's described as a short, stocky sergeant.
Oh, bloody hell, I did not notice that.
Yeah. No.
Our boy, Sergeant Forrest.
Mm-hmm.
Who is, a tragic character.
Yeah.
He did our boy dirty, you know.
Oh.
And every mention of him is precious.
Mm-hmm.
He's just such a stand-up guy, you know?
he's like the best person in this universe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. Hadish Kadia is pretty upstanding.
Oh, okay. Apart from Hadish Kadia.
Yeah, but that's...
And Temple's pretty good. Okay, we'll get to those later.
Yeah. Hold on.
But at this point, we Sergeant Forrest.
We do meet him. I will find him. Jesus Christ, I had it in my fucking notes. Where is it?
It's gonna be all right, Jeff.
No, it's not.
Why are you looking for that? I was also gonna bring up the fact that we get some good foreshadowing for Frost and for Severod. Like the things that they the things that they do in terms of maybe less so for Severod, but for Frost most certainly. Severod, I believe, he's got more foreshadowing in the second one because he hasn't found the second employer yet. But Frost, Frost is always there with Glockter. He's the one who's always waking him up. He is the one who is always telling him that the art collector needs him.
That's true. That's true. Frost is the one, and we
That's
find
true.
out that Frost is working for the art collector the whole time.
Now, if I was having to provide for my family and I had my own side knitting business, I would also probably be working for the art collector on the side. You know, I wouldn't. Yeah, he's a good boss. Collector's fine, but you know, I have a family to provide for,
And selling calligraphy on the side as well as knitting, only nets you so much money.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
he's a man of few words, right? He just sits into that recliner, knitting.
Yeah.
Little sons of the union for his children.
And reading his children those bedtime stories, they take a lot out of him. It takes a lot out of him.
Yeah.
He's like, then come a collector. What? And he's like, first of the Mayday, cast down the Canadius. Then his daughter fell on the bridge below. Did you find your thing yet, Jeff?
Yep, it's in fencing practice. Sorry, fencing practice. It's literally, I think, the first or second chapter of Giselle, right?
Yeah, fencing practice. Right at the end, right?
Yep. A thick-set sergeant with a scar down his cheek was hurrying over to them. Sergeant Forrest, how are you? And I was like,
Bloody hell.
It's Sergeant Forrest. Oh my god.
A true hero.
A true hero.
Even then, he was a true hero.
He was. He's always been mine. What else? Oh, I like the foreshadowing of Artie's past crush on Glocta. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Mm.
Yeah, it's
They're gonna bump some uglies there.
Definitely want to talk about that more too, and before they hanged, because there's some really, really good setup for them. But yeah,
but definitely like straight away, like the first thing, Artie's obviously like the only person that treats Glocta properly, saying that she has a bit of a crush on him as well. And I think just straight away, like Joe always does this, like the first interaction that these characters have is where they end up in the end. And I just think that's very interesting.
Mm-hmm. The cyclical nature. I like that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Each time I read the series, I think they're just so good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those two.
Those two? Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And then Jeff, you mentioned how you wanted to talk about Giselle's foreshadowing as well.
I said that.
Yeah.
I think that was me.
Oh shit.
Yeah, go ahead. I did want to talk about one thing with Giselle, but I was going to talk about that a little bit later.
I think it's the most important thing for Giselle is like he wants to be someone important.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Ironically.
Well, I can tell you, Giselle, it's going to get a lot fucking weirder than you think it is. And again, it's another one of those, don't, be careful what you wish for, because it might not work out the way you think it will.
Right. Nice one, Harrison. Nice.
Ironic.
What else did I have to say? Oh, when we first meet Yoru Sulfur,
yeah,
I am. I don't know if this is a spoiler or this is not really a spoiler. I'm just curious, what the fuck was in that scroll that he brought? Like, what was it that said the right things that got him into the right, meeting with the right people?
Probably had some kind of ancient seal that Baez had put in place. That is like some kind of ancient law. If so and so comes back and he has this seal, then you know he's Baez, and he probably put that in place as a safeguard. And so he brought it up to him, and he saw it. And Lord Chamberlain knows. He was like, "What the hell? This isn't supposed to exist. This is just, a myth. This is supposed to be just a
tradition, horseshit."
And at least nobody's supposed to know about it. You know what I mean? If it's like in this deep codex of this weird law of this specific thing happening, and nobody thinks it's going to happen anyway.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's too big of a coincidence for this guy to show up saying the exact right things with this exact right document. It's interesting. I
Right.
do like that because they immediately write him off, don't they? They immediately go, "This guy has got to be. He's either a charlatan or a madman," and they treat him like absolute shit. And he's like, he just takes it, takes it on the chin.
Just,
Did they
He's
introduce me wrong?
perfectly happy about it.
Was I not announced correctly?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we no, I guess we haven't.
What?
The I don't remember now. There was a certain body found in the garden.
That doesn't come up until part 2.
Nope. That doesn't come till later.
It's okay, guys. We're on a spoiler episode. It's not a big deal. You guys are like, shut the fuck up, Harrison.
Be quiet. Yeah, but all right.
Do we want to go ahead and a little time here and talk about the question of the week?
Yeah, that was actually perfect timing. Thank you. What is the question of the week?
I don't know. Did we settle one?
Yeah, didn't.
Yeah, we talked about one. And
Isn't it?
you sent it over to us, didn't you?
Yeah, it's the one I sent, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You're killing me.
Kill me, Smalls.
Killing me. Do you want me to handle this, or George? Do you want to do it?
You can do it. You came up with you found the question. It's all good.
Oh Jesus Christ! I thought
Go
it was
ahead. Go ahead.
share responsibilities. Fine, whatever.
I can do it if you want.
Oh, thank you, Harrison. Do it.
Let me just pull it up. Oh, that's right. Okay. So on one of my memes that I had posted, we had a Aya Stark. Say,
we are.
Like you're a baby. We are star.
They said, "Holy fuck! I don't know why this is so funny, but I can't stop giggling." By the way, love the pod. Where are you guys from? We have a bet going.
I want to know what that bet is. I want to know what that bet is.
Yeah, what do you guys have going on that bet?
Yeah,
we want to know where you think we're from.
I wonder which one of us sounds very specific to the location. Stares at George.
I wonder.
I think George is from South Africa.
Oh shit!
I'm sure some random guy, some random American's like, I'm pretty sure he's from Australia.
Yeah.
I wonder what would drive.
I wouldn't be surprised,
George
to be
nuts.
honest.
I think what would drive George nuts? Like if they said he was like Irish, right?
Oh, no, if they said he was French.
That's close. No. You can't.
How
But
fucking dare you?
Yeah. George has an unhealthy hatred for the French for no reason. I love their food. I don't understand what George's beef with them is, but all right. It's like it's not like the 100 Years War isn't over or whatever.
We're not going to get into that here. I'm going to do a whole video about it. Okay, I'll do a 50-minute long video just about why the French deserve everyone's hatred.
Shit!
George is going to do an hour-long video connecting the first law. Like Joe is actually criticizing the French here before they are hanged. He just relates everything to the French. But go ahead, George. Since we're talking about you so much, tell us, where are you from?
So I'm from Liverpool. I don't have the accent because I think the accent is stupid.
He turns it off.
Yeah, turn it off. Fucking hell, lad.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
you can turn it on.
But you have a northern accent, though. I would say.
Yeah, a little bit. But I'm originally from London, which is why I've got the bit of a Cockney twang as well. But then obviously I went to university as well, so I've got a neutral accent. But yeah, I'm fucking English through and through.
That's interesting. You said you went to university, so you have a neutral accent. What do you mean by that? Like
it just happens when lots of people from different places in a country, they all come together and it all sort of melts together into a sort of neutral accent.
Huh?
Yeah.
Interesting. That's not what happens over here. No, I'll give you a little anecdotal story. One of my childhood friends grew up in Connecticut, and this is like on the East Coast here, George, and very, rich. He wasn't rich; he was poor as shit. But it was very like I don't know if there's a northeastern accent. I know there is, but not like Massachusetts too much. But whatever. This guy moves to Texas when he joins the military, develops a southern drawl. I shit you not. And I'm like, Travis, what the fuck? I've known you for like 20 years. Where did this come from? He's like, howdy, y'all. I'm like, Jesus. And then he moves to fucking Washington, the state, not DC, Washington State. And he still maintains that drawl. I'm like, you confuse me, you chameleon. What the fuck? So, I mean, I always thought like maybe it might have been a thing when you move to a region, you develop that region's dialect there, the accents. But if you moved to, wait, you said you went to did you grow up in London?
Yeah, pretty much.
So wait, you were born in Liverpool, moved to London.
No, but born in London, moved to Liverpool.
Oh, dude, you're a Londoner at heart then. What the fuck?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay, all right. Now I'm getting it. Okay. Sorry.
It's all good.
Okay, all right.
So what about you, Jeff? Where's Jeff from?
Oh, we don't need to know. Okay. I'm like taking the arch lector's job, operating secrecy. No, New Jersey from America, New Jersey. I grew up. I was born and raised in I would say quaint little town, but I'd be lying. A town in a city called Elizabeth, which is well known for its diversity of people and murder methods. So, yeah. Lived there for pretty much in my entire life until I moved a little bit south into a nice like little suburban area, Old Bridge, Lawrence Harbor. Nice. Got a house finally, yard, 3 ferrets. But eventually, the dream is to move the fuck out of New Jersey. And
it's funny. Every single person I know from around that area just wants to leave.
Weirdly enough, dude, I mean, it's besides the high humidity, which doesn't make sense here, but besides that, it's actually a very nice, like, beautiful place to live. Just, just so fucking expensive, dumb governments, just bleh. Not even gonna get into that, but just bleh. I need more land for my money.
I would say that sometimes you can hear Jeff's accent come out, and other times he doesn't sound like he has an accent. He sounds like he has a neutral accent.
Oh, really? What's my accent?
Obviously, he has an American accent, but sometimes he has, every now and then, he has a Jersey accent. And I like it when it pokes through. I'm like, hey!
Really?
It's when you say goofy.
Oh, goofy.
Goofy.
Goofy. Yeah.
Goofy fucks.
Yeah. Listen, it's whenever you say certain words that your Jersey accent comes out. Otherwise, you sound like you're, from America, obviously, but you don't sound. You sound like you have a neutral accent, as George said.
Oh, all right. Thank you, I guess.
You Jersey fuck.
Oh, gosh. Harrison, how about yourself? Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I am from Oklahoma. I'm kidding. It's I'm from
the
Tulsa.
Wind comes sleeping down the rain.
Hey, how did you figure that out? You're not supposed to know that, George. I'm from Oklahoma, which, if you don't know, if you're from out of the country, is right above Texas. That's the easiest way to find it. And I'm from Tulsa, which is about in the middle, northeastern part of Oklahoma. It's not a huge city. It's not like fucking New York or Tokyo, but it's got about 1 million people or so. And grew up here. We have a lot of lakes here, so it's really, really humid. Like, we talking about, as if it rains, we're gonna be running 80% humidity at least. And so it gets pretty hot right now. It's only 92, which is a nice day.
This is it's like
in the dead of
95 right now.
But
dude, it sucks. We've been getting like a heat wave.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But
George experienced 80 degrees and he nearly died.
Yeah, I did. I literally nearly got heat stroke and died. Just sat in my own flat doing nothing.
But I was homeschooled. I used to not, everybody in Tulsa. If you grew up here, you're like, man, screw this small town. I want to go to the big city. I'm in Oklahoma. I'm in a country place. Screw this. But as you get older, and if you choose to stay here, you really start loving Tulsa and the surrounding areas. There's plenty to do. Everybody, most people know, like, a lot of celebrities and stuff know about Tulsa. They like coming here and like doing things. There's a really good music culture. There's a lot of unique, like, local places to go, and So I really like the Tulsa culture that's been developed.
Look at that love letter to Oklahoma, to Tulsa
Mm.
specifically. Look at that. George, does that not make you like tear up a little bit?
Yeah, it makes me want to visit.
Yeah. I want to visit Tulsa now.
All right, you guys will visit, and George will die from heat stroke.
Yeah.
We will
It's
have
coming
to
the winter. It's
We
coming
had in the winter for George.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
He'll be out in his fucking underwear.
Brits can't get too much sunshine anyway, or we'll just die of cancer.
You druids. Makes no sense.
The question
know,
is, do you guys think I have an accent?
Oh, 100%.
a bit-
Yeah.
yeah.
Like an Oklahoma accent?
It's not so
Southern
strong.
drawl.
It's not so strong, but it's there. It's there.
Good. I guess I have to represent, right? So.
You gotta.
And for those who want to say I'm from the South, Oklahoma technically isn't in the South, but it's also not in the Midwest, and it's also not in the Northeast. We don't really know. Sometimes people are like, "Yeah, we're Southern." Other times people are like, "No, we're too far north to be Southern, and we have different culture." And I don't know. We're right
Man in the middle.
Yeah.
Harrison.
Yeah.
Harrison.
Yeah.
Just accept it.
You don't know.
Why
I'm
don't
staying
I know?
out of this.
Look, if you're
Civil
south,
War time, bitch.
look, if you're south of the Mason-Dixon line, you're a Southerner. All right, that's it. Sorry,
Hey,
sorry to
that's
break it to you.
Southernist.
That's Southernist. Look, it's your guys' fault. You guys started that Civil War and you lost. So
What? Oklahoma wasn't even a part of it. Oklahoma was with the Union. It was Indian land. What the hell are you talking about?
it was a territory, but guess what? If you're from the South, then you pay for all their sins. All right?
Oh, okay, that makes
rules.
sense.
That's the rules nowadays. Apparently, that I've been learning. That apparently,
Yeah,
you
it worked
pay
out
for
well for
everyone's-
Germany. Yeah.
Yeah, it worked out well for everybody. That's how. But just totally, it works out well for everybody. Anyway,
I'm so happy that the same kind of argument happens over there because we have exactly the same thing with like north-south divide. Nobody can agree on where the north-south divide is.
dude, that's the same thing here in my state. In my state, New Jersey, people they're like, "There's no central Jersey," and other people say there is a central Jersey, and they're like, "Well, when does the north end and when does the south start?" And it just no one agrees. So I'm just like, I'm tapping out. I don't even give a fuck. It's weird.
Well, do we have anything else, guys?
I think that's about it. Yeah, no. Right, that's it for the question. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, we don't have a character spot this week, obviously.
Yeah, we don't have one. Correct?
No,
Yeah.
nothing.
No.
because
So-
we're just talking spoilers. So
Talking spoilers. What else? What
I think
else? I got
I
some
guess
other
the only
stuff.
other I was just gonna say I like the black. I kind of pointed out in this last episode, but I really like the Black Dow foreshadowing and how he actually is. He's perceived in the beginning to be kind of just a pure ass, like an antagonistic only character, and he is quite a bit more than that. And I really like that. How it's
Are you
even
guys-
that early
George,
on
are you
they
hearing him?
developed
Yeah.
You're hearing him clearly?
Yeah.
Oh, then that's me. Then that's my internet. Hello.
that. Hello.
Sorry about that. Can you repeat that because you
Yeah.
were cutting in and out like crazy.
Oh, you're good. Well, yeah, we want to make sure
Yeah.
it's recorded right. I was just saying how I like how Black Dow's foreshadowing is back here, and it's really subtle. It's because he's kind of a side character, but he kind of takes a central role later on, and he's kind of seen to be, because we see it through Logan and Dogman's eyes, that he's kind of an antagonistic, almost a bad guy sort of character. But really, he's an anti-hero with quite a bit of depth, and he does a lot of certain actions that, we're meant to pass off as, him being bad. But really, he's got a very unique character, which I always love rereading through and seeing the subtle things.
I agree. Black Dow's one of my favorite characters for sure.
Absolutely. He's, like you said, he's set up to be this sort of, even with his name, he's meant to be this evil bastard, and then you find out that he has a reason for the things that he does. And he actually, he accepts responsibility. He's almost like an anti-Logan.
Yeah, and we see that play out by the end. And
Mm.
honestly, I think Black Dog made the right call. I'd make that same call if I was in his place. I'd want him to.
100%.
Yeah. No, I
And
agree.
yeah, and it's just a bit of a spoiler, but I'm sure we'll talk about it again. But the fact that now we'll save it. I'm gonna tease you.
Okay. We'll save it. I
Yeah,
kind of want to
think
talk about a few things. What was nice foreshadowing here was when Bethod is arguing with Baez, he side eyes Logan after Baez says that, oh, Bethod owes him stuff that what is Bethod giving him? Just a library which he already had and one other thing. And then that's when Bethod couldn't help but glance at Logan. And I was like, oh, what could this be?
Yeah, it's really good because you're not paying attention to that stuff. You're paying attention to the interaction.
Right. So I thought that was cool. I think that was a nice bit of foreshadowing later on in the books as to why. Like, can we talk about that right now? I don't think we should, right? Not yet.
No, I think we should hold off. We got plenty of things to talk about in other spoiler times.
Right.
There's one thing that I was thinking of. In that same chapter, when Bethod comes to visit, Baez says that he had 3 gifts of him. The storm in summer, the thing in winter, and then one other thing that you could not have known except for my art. And I think that has something to do with Fenris the Feared. That might be a bit too tinfoily.
Well,
because we get Cowrib might have dug him out of a hill or something like that.
Cowrib dug
but considering that we find out later that Fenris is from the old time, and so is Baez.
Well, here's the thing, right? Is that one, Bethod brings up Cowrib and the Fear in order to replace his 2 assets which he's gotten rid of in the past few years, which was Logan and Baez. Those 2 assets which he used very carefully. He needs those replaced because he's going against Baez and he doesn't have Logan anymore. So he needs.
Well, he
those
doesn't
2...
know. He doesn't know he's going against Baez. Remember, he's like, you haven't been answering me.
He would never have brought Cowrib there if he was not worried about Baez. Bethod's smart. He knows that if Baez goes against him, he could be dead in an instant. Bethod knows what Baez is capable of. That's why he has Cowrib with him. That's the only reason. Because he needs he doesn't have he knew he wasn't gonna have maybe he wasn't sure if he wouldn't have Baez's help, but he knew that if he did go against him, then Cowrib was the best defense he had.
Okay.
Which is
okay.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but that because Cowrib was the one who finds Fenris the Feared. Cowrib is the one who Baez is like, yeah, it's not someone you want to mess with, because she is, and the reason why she was able to find out what Fenris the Feared is because she has a long eye, which I'll make a video about in the near future.
Yeah, make a video about that. That'd be great. But I don't know if the long eye. Oh, it does because she could see where he was buried, right?
Yeah.
Like she could go into the past. Okay, that's what it is. I was like, how the fuck would she be able to X-ray ground? But nope. Okay, got it.
Power, go, X-ray ground.
Okay. I mean, I like that. It's So he wanted to replace Logan, and he
didn't have a choice.
He either wanted to replace Baez or at least wanted a you can never have enough sorcerers, right?
That's true.
Right? Why? Who says you need one?
You never can have too many knives, right? So
yeah, exactly. There you go. Speaking of Magi, the mural in the basement of Severard's house that he's renting out to Glocta, it has the 11 Magi, not 12, but we know there's 12. And is his name even mentioned yet by the first part?
Yeah, but we can mention it. I mean,
we can mention
everybody.
Who wants to know who the missing Magi is? It is Kalul. That name did not drop with the same resonance that I thought it was going to drop with. But
shit, it's Kalul! Holy crap!
Oh my god!
And I reckon that'll actually come up in the next episode because we get the Pharaoh arriving in to add to it, or is that later?
No, that's later.
That's later, but we do get.
Damn it.
We do get. I think we will be talking. I can't remember. We need to figure out what chapters we're doing next week. But
I got it.
Is it the one where Pharaoh like runs into those eaters and gets her ass whipped?
Oh, I think he does get mentioned there, doesn't he? As well?
Yeah, he gets mentioned because the eaters are like, the prophet wants you. He wants to
nom 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 nom, which is interesting. Why does the prophet want her? I don't know why. I can't imagine.
Well, and of course, that's also good foreshadowing as well, because we know that Pharaoh is a fantastic fighter in just every single way, never misses, has survived this long where so many others have died, and then these people are after her for a specific reason as well.
Yes, I always because we were led to believe that the emperor is after her, and I guess because she used to be his sex slave. And then maybe one day she decided to do something to him, and she escaped, that kind of thing. But it makes a lot more sense to also really be like that's probably part of the reason. But another reason is that Khalul wants her for a specific reason, very specific.
One that maybe he didn't realize maybe she didn't realize who she was. Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay.
And then later on, after he escaped and everything, because I mean, Pharaoh's a good, capable person. Obviously, she, like you said, she's extremely good at fighting. She's a survivalist. She knows how to heal things. So, but the thing is the eaters aren't there. We mentioned it in the other episodes how she's so formidable that they sent eaters to get her. But that's not why the eaters are there. The Khalul wants her for something else. The eaters are there for her to get her. To make sure she comes alive. The army is there for her. So.
It's almost like they're racing, like they're not entirely on the same page.
Yeah, it's almost like they have different agendas.
You don't say.
Oh shit! One last. Speaking of, that's too spoilery. But one last thing I want to talk about. Is the foreshadowing of Yoru talking to Giselle about he needs to fence and how important the commoners are. And I was like, wonder where that could lead us.
Yeah. Because that's probably one of the most egregious parts of this book where it's just completely unexplained and Giselle's just like, what the fuck?
There's a madman running around the Agrion.
Yeah. But on second reading, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense. I like it.
Yeah. And Yoru's probably like, oh, fuck, Baez is counting on me to make sure this fucker follows through. I can't fail him. Right? Because we do know that Yoru serves Baez. We do know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can at least say that.
At least.
At the very least. You guys have anything else you want to add? Is that it?
No, I'm satisfied with it.
You're satisfied? Yeah, George.
I think the spoiler episodes are going to get longer and longer as time goes on as well.
True.
Yeah.
That's true. Alrighty. Well,
we hope you enjoyed our listeners.
Yeah.
And I do have to say thank you. Go ahead, George. Go ahead. No, go ahead, George. Go ahead.
Okay, so a few people have been asking for spoilers, and we thought it was good to at the 10 episode mark, kind of take a break from the chapter read throughs, and just give you guys some of that spoiler stuff that we might miss if we wait until they become relevant. So, yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, we did it out of the kindness of our hearts.
I think we should thank the Redditor who gave us the idea of having like a special episode for spoilers. So we're gonna probably do this once a part at the end of a part. So the next one will be at the end of the blade itself, and then henceforth every part at the end of a part we'll talk about spoilers. So we appreciate you giving us that idea, man.
Yeah, and we'll be I guess we will be diving into spoilers when we start getting more into the YouTube videos.
Yes, all the YouTube videos are going to be spoilers. Which
So,
I have them all marked on that way.
yeah, tag them as spoilers, all that stuff. So if you're just reading the books for the first time and you don't want to be spoiled, just stick to the regular chapter read-throughs. But other than that, yeah, we're trying to bring you all the content. Right, guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good.
More, and give us your feedback. Tell us what you think. Is there anything we missed or you think we should have been talking about at this point?
Yeah.
You let us know and we'll completely disregard it.
Damn,
right,
George
because
is
we're
savage
perfect.
today.
Ladies and gentlemen, George is hungover, so please forgive him.
He just doesn't give a fuck. He was being mean all day.
I'm sorry. We love you. We love you.
The Arch Lector will not allow any dissension. Oh, shit. All right. That's our show, everyone. We want to thank you all for listening, and we really hope that you enjoyed this special episode. As you all know, this is a passion project for the three of us, and your support does mean a lot to us.
Join us next week as we cover the remarkable talents of Brother Longfoot and Her Kind Fight Everything.
And as always, make sure you follow us on social media. We are Circle of the World Podcast on Reddit, Instagram, Twitter, and pretty much everything else, including TikTok. I still don't understand. So,
and if you haven't already, please subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or any podcast app that you use. And please rate and review this podcast as it helps to spread our reach. So thank you all again for listening.